Building off Suspended Virasana, there's also Supta Virasana, where in yoga classes you would sit between your feet in Virasana and then you'd lie all the way down. And I can't do that. That's not even within the realm of my body and never was, even when I was at my most agile, most limber. But we can do a suspension of Supta Virasana the same way we did a suspension of this Virasana pose. So we want to do a little preparatory work first because we want to find out what's the angle the furthest back you can go without arching. So we're going to set up a kneeling mountain, hug the block. Ankles are just slightly off the floor, thigh bones pressing forward. I'm squeezing in at the top of my thighs and I have that length. And then I want to see how far back can I tip in a straight line. So I'm hinging back from the knee. I am not arching, so I don't want to let my ribs fly up. I don't want to drop my head back. I want to keep my lower ribs in, keep my chin in, and lean back and find that hinge position. I'm squeezing in at the top of the thighs the whole time as I'm going down and up. And I'm discovering I go about this far. That is not nearly as far as I go when I do Suspended Virasana. So it's about here. So keeping that in mind, we move toward Suspended Supta Virasana. That was a hinge, now Suspended Supta Virasana. The first thing is I'm going to sit, but I'm going to sit to about the point where my thighs were able to be before. And then I want to take my pelvis and torso and tip back into my straight line. I have to bring my stomach with me, and then my thigh bones push up to bring me upright. It's a lot of quadriceps, it's a lot of glutes. Here we go, we're going to do it again. So I sit a little bit. I try and pull my belly with me and come into a straight line and come upright. You will not have your head looking to the ceiling unless you can go all the way to the floor. You're going to end up with that same alignment you were in your hinge. Sit, extend back, squeeze in at those thighs, and come up. I'm only going to do it wrong once because it's not very pleasant to do it wrong. If you go so low that you try and tip back and all that happens is you arch, you're too low. You may find you can only go a couple inches and work to that hinge. This ability to go from flexed at the hip to a straight line when you're taxed in this angled position may not be as easy as you think. It's similar strength that's required to push up into a bridge from flat on the floor, but it is harder. It requires way more control and ability and strength than pushing up from the floor because you don't have your arms and your legs to help lift you. You're just hanging on for dear life from those thighs. So one last time, we want to start by practicing hinging backward to figure out how far back do you go. And then once you know that, you sit to bring your thighs to that place. You try and bring the whole pelvis into a straight line with your thighs, and then thighs bring you up. I don't normally do more than 4 of those at a time. It's a lot of work. One of the reasons I do that often is because it will really contract the area around the pelvis and sacroiliac, and having had an SI injury where that area had gotten overstretched and unstable, this actually brought everything back together and stabilized it. So this can be very useful for sacroiliac SI injuries. Can be, not necessarily is, but can be. So you might want to give it a try if that's an issue of yours. So that's all I've got. Play with this. Roll out your thighs afterward. You're going to want to rest them. Don't do too many in a row. It's work. And yeah, go play.